episode 390. Tonight I have recaps of WWE Friday Night Smackdown and AEW Rampage right here, right now. 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Welcome, wrestling fans, to an episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 390. Lance Brock here on this Friday night to talk pro wrestling, WWE, Friday Night Smackdown, and AEW Rampage. And tonight was a little different than most Friday nights, because for just a little over 15 minutes, SmackDown and Rampage were on at the same time for tonight. I'm sure you remember they announced Wednesday night on Dynamite that Rampage was supposed to start at 9:30, or whenever the basketball game between the Miami Heat and Chicago Bulls ends, and I turned it on at 9:30, and there was about, I want to say, just a little less than a minute left of the game. And then by the time the game finished and a little bit of post-game talk, it started close to around 10:40 or 9:45. So for about, like I said, a little over 15 minutes, was watching both Rampage and Smackdown at the same time. But let's get started into tonight's episode. WWE Friday Night Smackdown on Fox. From the University of Nebraska, the commentators Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. And we start things off with the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And we also see the Usos in this segment. And they act like they want to go. And one interesting thing I thought about the Usos promo tonight was he brought up, or Jey Uso said that it won't be Kevin Owens turning on Sami Zayn. It'll be Sami turning on his brother. And trying to debunk the speculation from Sami Zayn about there being cracks and problems in the bloodline. In our first match on Friday Night Smackdown tonight, Xavier Woods from the New Day. By himself, Kofi Kingston out with an ankle injury, but Woods is victorious, defeating LA Knight. And then we have the Judgment Day cut a promo in the ring. Damian Priest is in action, taking on, representing the LWO, Latino World Order, Santos Escobar. And the Judgment Day gets involved, which also the LWO gets involved as well, and Rey Mysterio helps them out. And I just want to say, I do like the change to the LWO from Delgado del Fantasma. I think this is a better name for the group. Maybe it's just kind of a nostalgia thing from the WCW days, but I'm more of a fan of them, this faction, being the Latino World Order, especially with Rey Mysterio being involved with them. That's just my opinion, though. If you have any opinions about the LWO, you like it, like that it's back, or if you don't like it, let me know in the comment section right here on Spreaker or wherever you are listening to 360 Wrestling Fanatic, this episode right now. And next, we hear from the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And they thank each other, and they are interrupted by Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. And they cut a heel promo. And next up is the return of the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura. He defeats Madcap Moss. Before this match started, when Nakamura was doing his entrance, we see in the back Madcap Moss with his girlfriend Emma, and she is telling him he can beat Nakamura, and he does not, like I just said. And even after the match, he goes to attack Nakamura after the match, but Nakamura counters. And our main event on Friday night, Smackdown tonight, Solo Sikoa representing the Bloodline, taking on Matt Riddle. Pretty good match here. The Usos get involved. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out. But it is Solo slamming Matt Riddle down on the announce table and then flipping it over on top of Matt Riddle. And Zayn and Owens go over to help out Riddle by getting it off him. And Matt Riddle gets medical attention at this time. So that was WWE Friday Night Smackdown on this Friday night. I thought it was an okay episode. Not too bad. But I wouldn't say it was really that spectacular either. And now over to TNT. Like I said, I was still watching SmackDown at this time for about the last 15, maybe a little over 15 minutes. To TNT for AEW Rampage. And we start things off with the new IWGP Tag Team Champions Aussie Open taking on Best Friends. Pretty good opening match here. Actually, at this time, I was watching SmackDown, I guess you could say. I was watching it, had it on the TV with the sound down, but I had Rampage on my phone and was listening to that. And Aussie Open defeats the Best Friends. And next, Tony Schiavone is in the ring to interview the new AEW World Tag Team Champions, FTR. And they say they have bad news for everyone because we're stuck with them for the next 4 years. They are all elite. And good interview here from FTR, I thought. And next up, we have Triple J, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal along with Saddam Singh and their tag team partner in this 8-man tag, Mark Briscoe, which was a result of what happened last week on Rampage, where Jay Lethal asked Mark Briscoe for them to team up, but what Mark Briscoe didn't know that he agreed to is that Lethal meant for him to team up with Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, and Saddam Singh as well. He was not very happy with that. Shows him in the back. Sanjay Dutt puts a t-shirt on Mark Briscoe with all their faces on it. He takes it off and throws it. And for the match now, they take on the Spanish Announce Project and Man Scout Jake Manning. Actually was a pretty good match here, I thought. Mark Briscoe gets the win, pins Jake Manning with the Froggy Bow. And next up, Taya Valkyrie takes on Emi Sakura. Taya gets the win, but during the match, Jade Cargill, the AEW TBS champion, and Layla Gray make their way to the ring. Jade tries to get involved to distract Taya, but Taya gets the win. And then Jade makes her way to the ring and attacks Taya Valkyrie. Not quite sure just yet when we will see the TBS championship match between these two, but I'm sure they are going to go toe-to-toe for that title. And now, the main event. Or first, actually, we have 2.0 come out and rap, trying to imitate the Acclaimed. They make fun of them. Not just 2.0, Daddy Magic Matt Menard, and Cool Hand Ange, Angelo Parker, but also Jake Hager rapped as well, and he was great, of course. He ended it with saying, "I like this hat," like he has been saying recently as of late. I know they're heels, but this was actually quite an entertaining segment. And the Acclaimed come out next, and you think it's going to be the usual rap from Max Caster, but nope. He decides not to rap, and they just go right into the ring, along with Daddy Ass Billy Gunn, and they go right after 2.0 and Jake Hager, and Max Caster gets on the mic and challenged them to a trios match this Wednesday night, live in Pittsburgh on Dynamite. So we will see that match this Wednesday night. And now it is time for the main event of the evening. And we see back to the face-to-face, well, not in person, but interview with the two superstars in the main event with Mark Henry, and we get the world's strongest man's line. Well, it looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event right here on Rampage tonight. And it is Jungle Boy Jack Perry taking on the returning Shawn Spears. Really good match, I thought, between these two, especially for a Rampage main event. And that's not taking or saying anything against Rampage, but for Rampage, good main event. I don't know if I wouldn't say it was a Dynamite quality main event, but still very good match here between these two. Jungle Boy defeats Shawn Spears, and there's a show of respect between the two after the match as Rampage goes off the air. Once again, very good main event tonight. Rampage, pretty good episode. I would say kind of just like Smackdown, good episode. I wouldn't say anything real great or anything, but some good wrestling tonight between the two shows, Smackdown and Rampage. And that was our Friday night wrestling lineup for tonight. Before I wrap up, just a little bit of news. As it was we seen on Ring of Honor on Honor Club this week, Eddie Kingston said he has been dealing with an injury since September and is expected to have surgery. So not sure just yet right now how much time he will be out of action for, but hopefully won't be too long. Definitely want to send get well wishes and a speedy recovery to the Mad King Eddie Kingston. Also, there continues to be a lot of talk and discussion, speculation, or as Bruce Pritchard would say, rumor and innuendo about CM Punk. A lot of people saying that he will be back in AEW, and to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to wait until maybe around August, because I'm sure if CM Punk does come back to AEW, that would really help the ticket sales going into the big all-in show in London at Wembley Stadium. So maybe even a little before August, so they can get the ticket sales up and definitely build up for a big match or something big happening on that show with CM Punk. Would definitely be smart because they definitely want to load that show, make it as big as they possibly can to get as many people as they can in Wembley Stadium. Now, I don't know if they will get as many people there were for SummerSlam 92, but I'd say they probably will have a good sized crowd, and especially if they do have a huge stacked card for the show. And still not sure just yet how this will air. They actually haven't said pay-per-view or anything when they've been talking about it. And I was thinking about maybe HBO Max, which was announced recently starting May 23rd. HBO Max is they're dropping the HBO part from the title and it will be just Max. I guess they're planning on changing it up somehow. Hopefully I will still continue to get it. Right now I have it as a part of my plan on Cricket Wireless, so hopefully that'll stay the same. And especially if they stream it on their live, which would be pretty big. And if that's like a launch of like AEW's streaming service, which like I just said, I get HBO Max on my Cricket Wireless plan, so that would be for me the best option. So I wouldn't have to pay any extra for it, as if like AEW had their own streaming thing by themselves, or if they went to Discovery Plus, I think, also owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. But I'm really hoping on Max they will show it on there, do a live stream, and we'll just have to wait and see though, because like I talked about on the podcast before, the week after that is All Out on pay-per-view, And that really would not be a good idea to charge $50 2 weekends in a row for a pay-per-view. If this is a pay-per-view, maybe a cheaper price. So, like I said, you're not asking people to pay $50 2 weeks in a row. But who knows? Maybe it'll be a live free special on some streaming service. I don't really see them having it on TV, either TBS or TNT though. But you never know. So that's all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 389. Thank you everyone for listening tonight right here on Spreaker or wherever you listen to 360 Wrestling podcasts. And hope to have more episodes of 360 Wrestling Fanatic soon. Not sure about Saturday, but definitely Sunday night Impact Wrestling Rebellion. Hope to have a recap of that pay-per-view. And we'll be back tomorrow for the Saturday morning episode of GMWF. So tune in for that. But until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.